Love you all. Okay. Okay. No problem. Yes. Yeah.
Same thing with
See you, man.
He's on Zoom, yes. Hey.
You was sitting.
Why you this time of the day, you know?
A couple of people.
Yeah, like it's frustrating, you know? Was sitting in a long line, it's like, couldn't see anybody. That was in front of me. We have no time for that, kids. Yeah.
Good evening, fellow Rotarians and guests. Question and on Zoom. Well, good afternoon. Before we get started, I must say to President Darren, it's so good to be in a moment to help control of the lecture. I'm also a Toastmaster, and the last thing you give a Toastmaster and a politician is the lecture and the mic. But anyhow, I call this meeting to order.
That's the last time you can get it.
I call this meeting to order. And this time we're gonna ask Rotarian Catherine to open us up in a word of prayer. The Rotary Grace.
Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. Our Rotary Grace. Our Father, we thank thee for this opportunity to develop acquaintances for service to our community and to the world. We pray that this meeting will serve to strengthen Rotary in its purpose and us in thy service. Amen. While you're standing, can we have the loyal toast, please? Can you raise your glasses, your cups, your bottles, or whatever your liquid is in as we toast to the King and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas?
To the King, the Commonwealth.
Thank you very much. In person, you can be seated. As I look at my agenda, I welcome you, and so let me take this opportunity to give you in person and on Zoom a formal welcome. When I was asked to serve as your Sergeant at Arms, I was told to give a few jokes, but I'm not a joke person. But I'm going to give you a story more or less. I guess they stick with what you know.
Right.
And so there was a person that died. There were a priest and a taxi driver, and they all appeared to the gate. And St. Peter went to the taxi driver and gave him gold staff, a nice silk robe, and the keys to a nice penthouse. And then he turned to the priest and he gave the priest a wooden staff, an old raggedy cloak, and the keys to a clapboard house. So the priest was very in disbelief, and he said to St. Peter, but why you give the taxi driver this gold staff, the keys to the nice penthouse, and you give me this wooden staff and the keys to a clapboard house? St. Peter looked at him and said, here in heaven we work by results. When you preach, the people slept. When he drove, the people prayed. And so now, I'm gonna bring the captain of the ship to this lecture as I welcome our president, your president, my president.
When I like you already, you sound good. You sound really good. Good afternoon, fellow attorneys and guests. It is so good to see all of you who have gathered here this afternoon. It's so good to see all of you joining us live via Zoom. And it's really an exciting meeting that's planned for us this afternoon. You know, I was very pleased when I came in and as I heard when starting over his jokes. In my time in Rotary, it's been a short time. I think perhaps one of the greatest jokesters, I mean this very respectfully, has been Tony Wallace. Oh no, yes, fine, yes. So
It used to be very, very clever.
I think he still is. I can put him on the spot, you know, I think he still is. And he said to me that he was traveling over the past few weeks, went to California, and is now going to go to the UK next week. I'm going to be there for some time, so we've missed him. And so before I invite you to give me one of your hallmark jokes,
You want to joke?
yeah, not you being a joke, I want you to tell us a joke.
Oh, should I come up here?
Yes, I want you to come, please. And as you come, I the club has taken a moment to pay our respects to Tony Wallace, who indicated to me that in addition to going to the UK to visit his daughter, he also said to me on the partner of his mom, so he wants all to stand kind of please. And then what the name was you in the partner, your mom. Just a moment to respect Tony Wallace. Thank you so much. You may be seated. Thank you for that.
And raised 5 children, and she married 3 husbands, very long, full lives. So, this is Teresa. It's a total one day. And her neighbor going in, knocked on the door. Teresa being visible. He'd like to go into the house. And he says, you know, Teresa, I've known you a long time. I've always admired your dresses. Pulled out $100. Said, if you show me one of your presents, I will give you this $100. And Teresa, think about this for a minute. Think, well, you know, $100 is $100. She exposed one of her presents. And Johnny says, you know, Teresa, if you show me your other presents, I will give you this other $100. Teresa says, okay, well, $100 is not $100. And so she exposed her other present. Husband comes home. He says, Teresa, my dear, did Johnny drop by to pay me back that $200 you owe? Thank you very much. One more. This is my kind of go-to favorite behavior. I'm sorry if anyone's read this. If a behaving, that you call on your phone says that he or she will call you right back. Get on with your life.
But there's a strong possibility they're not going to call you back, right? But again, you've demonstrated you still have it after these years of class, you still have it. But it's good to have all of you meeting today. Just by way of announcements, I neglected to share in the chat, but I think Shannon has been doing a telling job of sharing. The Bahamas Roadmasters is a running club, and there is going to be on next week Sunday, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, a half marathon. And so they are inviting you, Dwayne, and others to assist us in a water stop. So we're asking for volunteers between the hours of 5:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. to assist them in lining a booth, a water stop just outside, I think, the office of the Prime Minister. And so anybody that's available next week, Sunday, sorry, 19th November, if you are available, kindly support the Bahamas Roadmasters. I'll share the information in the group for all of you to be able to go ahead and participate in assisting them in that event. 19th, between the hours of 5:30 to about 9 AM, they're going to have the Bahamas Hub. And so they asked me for our club to assist in regards to volunteers. Thank you very much, I'm sure you would. Sheila's also going to be absent for, she said to me, for about 2 weeks. I didn't receive a vacation request form. I'm quite sure the application for Sheila to go with 2 weeks has been approved, but. One second.
Oh.
But Darren, something refunding the cost for the air. It's okay, Darren, it's only what, $300.
Okay. Okay, just a few more quick announcements I'm going to go through. And then I'm going to invite Peter to come. Whilst I'm looking for that particular announcement, I'm going to. Marissa, will you come? Marissa's got a very special invitation for us here at RCN. Marissa is visiting us this afternoon from East Nassau. She has a very special invite, so let's welcome her. She comes to the invite.
Thank you for the warm welcome. So I'm here today from the fundraising committee of RCN, so Rotary Club of East Nassau. We are having our first fundraiser this weekend. It's going to be a boat cruise. So it's a oldies boat cruise. So Betty had said more so old music. We're sticking to that theme. We have people coming in costumes because originally it was a Halloween event, but we've now moved it to this weekend. So we scratched the theme and we're having a little cruise for our first fundraiser. We would love it if you can come out and share with us. Donations for tickets are $40. The boat leaves at 7 PM on Black Beds Revenge. An email was sent to your group, should have been sent to your group from Club Runner from Valentino Bethel. So hopefully your secretary can share that again with you, and any of you online, any of you in the room that are interested in getting tickets, please let me know. I know tickets are free, so please let me know. And we'll be happy to share with you. So please come out and participate with us and share with us in the event if you can. The tickets are $40.
So.
Thank you.
Now, you can say old school, what kind of old school music out there? Because the old school I'm thinking of, may not necessarily be Stephen Dane's old school, right? I know you know.
All right.
2008 old school.
So I know.
Right, so but it'll be a mix.
So it's a mix, because
Right.
Alpha Sound is one of our sponsors.
Okay, so, okay, got
So
it.
some
I know you got some
So
people,
you'll be entertained, you'll be entertained.
you got some over the hill music.
Bring it to her. Bring it to her.
Huh? They're different. A little bit. But that is exciting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very shiny.
Real proud.
It's mixed. Okay, good. Charlotte going to come very quickly to have an announcement we have for the 25th November. As the foundation chair, we're going to invite Charlotte to come now real quickly.
Listen, Darren, you talk about old school. Yeah. I remember when the raffle tickets were gone.
And that one had been a very, very long time. Because of PPL, raffle tickets are going on.
noticed.
Just throw me off my game. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to see you all here in person and also online. Very nice meeting up there. Yeah, sorry, I'm really distracted. Yes. So, on the 25th of November, we will be having the Rotary Foundation Gala. We are during the month of November, this is Foundation Month. We like to make sure we end the month on a high note. So it's actually being led by the Rotary Club of the Bahamas. We will have all the dignitaries from Rotary will be present, either online or in person. It is going to be a great event. This is also the time when we showcase how much we appreciate persons who have been doing good within the club and also within the community. So we give out the honorary Paul Harris Fellow recognition. Last year we had Kino and Money from our club, and we had Robert Meister from the community. So we would like to continue with that tradition, and we would like for your support. Also, those persons who know that they will be getting their next level of Paul Harris or even their first Paul Harris, you're also invited to attend. We will not be pinning you that night, but all persons will be recognized who are getting either the Paul Harris or the first one or multiple ones that night. So we do encourage you all to attend. It's a great event. One of the things that's also coming out of this event, past Rotary National President Barry Ratlin, he has a goal to reach for a foundation for Rotary International, and we'd like to be able to donate $50,000 to him. So we're really trying to raise some funds at this event to pass on to him. Is that you're going to make the donation, Sheila, of 50,000? I saw that. That eyebrow raise, yes.
You saw the eye.
Yeah. So we would appreciate your attendance. We have Cat Island in the house. We actually do have a Zoom link as well for those persons who want to not able to come to that. So we do have a Zoom link as well. We need to talk about that. All right, thank you very much. Look forward to your attendance. Oh, yes, and those of you would have been at the last session also, you would have seen us posting it in the chat. Rotary Club of Nassau also presents the Heart of Rotary that night. Of course, this is the award that goes to the Rotarian who exemplified everything that's great about Rotary. Last year, of course, our very own PAG Larry. Yeah, so we will be about, so we've also reached out to the club for nomination, so that will be presented by PR.
Online as well.
Mike Stafford. Yes, Mike Stafford is the past recipient. No, wait for us, Mike. Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Yes.
Hey, everybody.
So please do come out so that we can see who's going to be the Rotarian to get it this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Chantel, for that update and announcement. I was getting a little ahead of you earlier, like going to introduce our guests at the be on Zoom or in person. But this time, I want to acknowledge any guests that you have, whether it's on Zoom or in person. You just, if you're on Zoom, you can unmute your mic, introduce yourself, or if you're in person, you can just raise your hand and acknowledge you. Is there any guests in the house? Yes, but if there's no guests in the house, I welcome all of you will carry the presents. I think all of us are family. Okay. What about visiting Rotarians? Any visiting Rotarians? Oh, she's no guest, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Again, my name is Maria. I am a part of the fundraising committee for Rotary Club of Nassau. So thank you. I don't know if you want more.
That's good. That's great to have you here. I know that you did it last time. You know, the doors are always open. We don't lock the doors, so please feel free to come. And take our sentiments back to your club as well and bring some more persons with you next week. At this time, we're gonna ask, I don't know if Terry Kino How many membership updates? Always. Floor yours.
Come on now, we have surprises. Come on now. Promise. For those of you who are online, like they say, eat your heart out. The cake is with us. All right, come on. President Darren, he promised to bring us a cake last week, and the cake is here for all those who celebrated their birthday in the month of October. This is for you, and of course, Laverne, your birthday is on the 10th. Thank you, that's heavy. Thank you very much. Laverne, could you put on your camera, Laverne, please? Laverne, your birthday is on the 10th.
Regrettably, I cannot put on my camera, but thank you very much for thinking of me.
Absolutely, Laverne, her birthday is on the 10th, and a couple of the things we're celebrating, we got to PhD Larry. Larry is being honored by the country as being one of our sports legends in the Hall of Fame. Give it up for Larry. All right, Larry, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please let us know when the ceremony will be, so we can support you. That'll be a wonderful thing, right? All right. Of course, one last note, other than our birthdays, I want to recognize those persons who really made an effort to reach out to their buddy. The buddy program is an excellent program. Who has made an effort to reach out to their buddy? Me. Anybody? Yes. Me. Who's your buddy, Dwayne? No. Nikita Oleg. Nikita.
She can verify if she's online.
The Rita?
No,
She's at the bottom.
Yeah, Nikita was here last week.
Yeah.
All right. Who else have their buddy? Steven, who's your buddy?
We had breakfast last Friday.
You had breakfast. Oh, one. That's what we need to. Who's your buddy? Shaquille Moss in Kid Island. All right. Make sure to touch base your buddy. Jody, who's your buddy?
No idea.
You don't know who your buddy is? Who's your buddy? Francina, who's your buddy?
I don't know who they are.
Who's your buddy? Wayne, who's your buddy?
My buddy Sheila. Sheila's over there. We have all this credit.
Oh, and who's your buddy? Wow. And of course, since my buddy is on, is Deidre on? I don't see, I'll call her this week. Oh, there you are. That's my darling buddy. How you doing, Deidre? Listen, that's one of the things that Rotary makes Rotary a very important part of what we do to reach out to each other. That's one way we're going to continue to grow our club. So I'm going to encourage you, please reach out to your buddy and make sure that they feel special and part of here. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry to interrupt, but when you started the system, I was ill and I was out of, out of the road for quite a while. So, I think the way I was gonna come back.
Now that you're back, we make sure
So there you go.
that you have a buddy. All right. Thank you so much, ladies. Enjoy. And of course, the cake was supposed to come from Darren. The fritters are coming from me. They're frying them up. They're bringing them out shortly. And the drinks, is it soft drinks or hard drinks? And the drinks are on Wayne today. I asked Wayne the drinks. There's plenty to 100 table. All right, y'all enjoy. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Rotary and Tina. In the interest of time, we're gonna go right along and the Secretary of Dates, Terry Fantina.
Sorry. Yes.
Go for it.
I'm just gonna remind you of the upcoming gala on November 25th. This will be at La Kahama. And of course, we're gonna have the weather webinar this Saturday, November 11th. The information will be placed in the chat. You can log on to Zoom, or you can reach out to Lakina if you want to come in person. RCN, maybe? What was the announcement?
The foundation event that's coming up on the 25th of November.
The next one.
Oh, yeah, November.
November,
It is November, right?
yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much, our Secretary Terry and Francina. I don't see our treasurer in the room, but I don't know if President Darren want to say something on behalf of the treasurer. Sure.
I remember.
Since not, move right into the introduction of our speaker. Coming now, introduce our speaker for today.
Raquel. Keep you, Raquel.
Past President Greg Kelly. Yeah, feel free to come out, we're going to introduce our speaker.
Good afternoon. Our speaker today is Mr. Jared Kane, and he is the District 7020 Disaster Chair. He is a decorated industry acknowledged crisis and disaster expert with a 50-year career across both the public and private sectors. A former chief superintendent with over 40 years of policing experience across the Caribbean, UK, and Hong Kong. Derek was handpicked the head of Health, Safety, Security, and Crisis Management Department for Dart Enterprises. In this role, he oversaw the planning, preparation, training, and execution of disaster management and crisis solutions for Dart Enterprises Cayman operations. At the 2018 U.S. National Hurricane Conference, Derek was asked to join the Caribbean and talk for Island's Hurricane Committee tasked with coordinating multinational training, planning, response, and logistics for disaster management and recovery in the region, while as the serving chief superintendent. Derek was charged with drafting the Cayman Islands National Crisis Management Plan for the Cayman Islands government, coordinating multiple government agencies in preparing, training, and responding to crises on the national level. He has coordinated crisis management exercises in Cayman and Willows, delivered presentations at the National Hurricane Conference in the USA, and lectured at the Police Training School in Jamaica, Barbados, and the wider Caribbean region. In 2004, Derek took command of the Royal Cayman Islands Police on the approach of the catastrophic Category 5 Hurricane Irma and led that directed body throughout the emergency. He oversaw and directed national and international operations to preserve and save life, maintain public order, and ensure the safety of national key assets. Derek received the Queen's Police Medal, QPM, for his leadership and actions during Hurricane Irma. His further professionalism and dedication have been acknowledged on the 3 separate occasions by Her Majesty the Queen in her birthday honors, including appointment as a member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire in 2015. Derek became a chairman in 2000 as a member of the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman. He is as past president and now serves as a disaster chair for District 7020. Please join me in welcoming District Chair Derek Haynes to discuss disaster response webinar and District 7020 disaster management plan.
Hi, Derek. Derek, can you hear us?
You did. Derek, can you unmute your mic? While we saw our technical glitches, we're gonna take this opportunity to encourage you guys, those who are brand their pins. Feel free to contact the treasurer and set your account. We're gonna start something new today. And past president down allowed for those on.
And you voted already?
Yeah, but President Darren, I apologize.
That's your vote, I'm fully fine right there.
I accept that. I will have to send my account with the treasurer. For those on Zoom who has their camera off, we suggest, we would like you to be engaged. So just the camera off. We're gonna give you $1 prize after the date. Since it was unnoticed, it was not noticed, it was not expected. But we want to see persons with cameras on, so we can have you engaged. So if you have your cameras off, please feel free to pay $1 fine for having your cameras off.
Okay, I think we seem to have got through whatever was causing the glitch in our comms. Can you hear me now?
Yes, fine, thank you.
Excellent. Well, it is useful, I suppose, if you're having a disaster management chat, but things go wrong and we can at last successfully sort it out so I can address you. But I did hear my welcome to your meeting, so good afternoon to you all, and fellow Rotarians and guests if there's any there. You saved a little bit of time, of course, because I was going to give you a little bit on my background, but I don't think that's necessary, having heard such a great introduction. I bring greetings, of course, from the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman, which I'm a PP, as you've acknowledged, and I thank you for the invitation for this. Usual story, when you take something on at district, it's always a little bit frightening, to say the least. So, and having been to the Bahamas and read also your plans that you've kindly sent through to me, I know how well prepared the Bahamas usually is when faced with problems. As you know, it is extremely important to us all to have plans and to be within the district to get assistance if that becomes necessary. Whatever the major incident is. Now, I'm probably the same as yourselves, in as that I consider that the threat from weather, particularly the hurricane season, is the biggest natural threat to us in the West Indies, and obviously understand that how troubled you in the Nassau and the Bahamas have been troubled by these events, particularly with I think the biggest and most dangerous hurricane in recent times, Dorian, that came through you in 2019, and I'm sure you don't need reminding what happened in Great Abaco and also in Grand Bahama, with all the damage, disastrous time that brought, and of course the numerous deaths. Cayman has also been hit. It's a bit longer ago. We were hit in 2004, which became our 9/11 when a Cat 5 Hurricane Ivan came through here. Fortunately for us, although there was a tremendous amount of damage, we didn't have the casualties that you did in your storms. And of course, elsewhere in the Caribbean, back in 2017, we had 3 major hurricanes hit the islands further down to the east, but even one of those came up to you, as you know. So when I'm looking at the planning, and of course, as we say, that is vital to us all, is the planning and preparation for any event and to respond to that event, whatever it may be. The disaster plans that come in that include Nassau's clubs and other Bahamas clubs, and I thank you all for sending those through. I've sort of got a little library together of all the plans that have come through from the district. The majority of clubs have responded, and District Governor David, he's got a copy of all those as well. I think it's also vital that we do add into all our plans any possible threat, whether it's because of fire or any other emergency, plane crash, and so on, that might come under your umbrella as to what might happen. But I always put the hurricanes first because I feel they are our biggest threat from a natural disaster. But on top of that, you can have a timeline for the hurricanes, and by writing down the actions you're going to take when such a disaster occurs, then the hurricane is, to me, the better way to go about having it as your number one, because generally speaking, with a hurricane, you have got a little bit more time to get your preparations sorted and getting everything together before the storm arrives. Whereas, of course, if you're subjected to an earthquake or a fire or any of those, you've got to shorten your preparation time down to probably seconds or minutes and get with it. So as the disaster chair for the district, I'm obviously watching the weather every day, and probably more so if there's anything out there. And I'm sure that you do exactly the same, living in island state as you do. So let's get those plans together, and then of course train up your teams as you're going to as you require. Your emergency response team and so on, which will include your disaster chair for your club, and who else will be involved in responding to whatever the emergency is. And of course, that also includes ourselves at district level, because we will be seeking to find out how we can help you, and whatever you need, or if there's somebody close to yourselves that need assistance, how you can help the district help them. So it's typical of Rotary that we try to do that, and as you probably know, and I'm sure you do, that we have emergency supplies stockpiled in places like Panama, and so that we can move those to you or to other people who have been badly affected by whatever the emergency is. Now, we're having obviously a webinar on Saturday. Hopefully, I'll be well sorted out before that kicks off, so that we can get through however long it takes. I know we've got 5 hours put aside for that. We've invited our other clubs and membership to join in on that. So hopefully we can continue passing the message to all our members, and ensure that we can reduce casualties to as low a level as is possible when these disaster events take place. I think really I can pause there and hope that meets to some extent what you wanted to talk about today. And IPP Chantel, thanks for us again for arranging this. Do you have, or the members have any questions that we can take it from there? I hope that got through.
Thank you very much. Of course, we have a formal thank you to the speaker, but in the interest of time, I was asked if we could probably delete a question after talking about that. All right, anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Okay, thanks very much, Mike, for that very comprehensive presentation. We are in November, and we know that November, really the 30th is the last day of hurricane preparedness or any likelihood of hurricane. How serious should we take hurricanes in November? Do you have any historical data that you could provide for us where hurricanes, normally target this path, Caribbean?
Yes, thanks for that. As that is a good question, and it's a good pointer, because there is a bit of complacency starts to come in once the Atlantic side of the season starts to fall away. And I have to say that the population of the Cayman Islands, because it's been some 19 years since we were hit badly, complacency is one of the worst sections that you've got to try and get over in order to get people's attention. Now, I'm sure you know that at the moment, the NOAA are saying we're not going to get any tropical storms at all in the Atlantic area for the next 7 days. But you're absolutely right that this is and can be a dangerous time, because the areas, I look at there's 3 phases for the hurricane season. The first part in June and July to a certain extent is the storms tend to start or start to develop in the Northwest Caribbean, so not far from us in the Cayman Islands, and in the Gulf, and to some extent nowadays around onto the East Coast, lower East Coast of the United States, and we saw some of that this year. The second phase, as we all know, is the African phase, or when they come off onto Capo Verde, and then they come across, which is exactly what Dorian and Ivan did. And both attacked us, and in obviously Atlantic season, that's the route they usually take, either coming across. I think to some extent this year we were protected somewhat by El Nino phenomena that brings the jet streams further south, and as a consequence of that, those jet streams actually push the storms by wind shear or by moving them to go up into the Atlantic. So certainly us in the Cayman haven't had any problems this year with it, although obviously there are some fears with when Tammy was going and Philippe and 1 or 2 others. But at this time of the year in November, that is the 3rd phase, and the storms tend to develop actually off of Central America and up through to Belize. And, Paloma, which was a November storm, started off Belize. Fortunately, it was quite a tight and not a huge storm, but it still went to Category 3 and caused some damage before it blew itself out in Cuba. Mitch was another one back in '98 that started off it was on the 22nd of October it kicked off, and then headed straight for us in the Cayman, and then turned inexplicably down and hit Honduras and killed 22,000 people. So that was just into November when that was on. And the other worrying thing about it, of course, is that some of these islands are not like ours. They're as flat, they're mountainous, and even though Mitch, when it went and attacked Honduras, had dropped to a tropical storm level, but was still throwing a hell of a lot of rain down onto that country, mudslides and so on, and that killed all those thousands of people. So there's a tendency as well, if we're not careful with our people for them to say, oh, well, I went through a Cat 3 or a 4 or a Cat 5. This is only a tropical storm. We don't have to worry about. But it's, as we all know, it's not so much the power of them, it's the size and what brings with it. So when I'm doing training sessions and I have a disaster consultancy company now, that is not an attempt to get custom. I just, to let you know, I do training for the companies that are clients of mine. And I've heard people say that, and I have to sort of step in and say, you can't just say this is a minor thing. Yes, okay, some of them are, but some of them can be quite fatal, and particularly if people don't prepare for it, because they wipe it out. So yes, November is still a dangerous time, and of course we do know that sometimes we get storms after the 30th of November and sometimes before the 1st of June. So it behooves us all to be watching out, whatever the time of the year, and for whatever other weather or natural hazard comes our way. So does that answer that question?
Yeah, thanks.
No problem. Yeah, very welcome.
Any more questions on Zoom, in person?
That's a question. Okay.
I'm not getting any more questions. Is that
For you.
You have a question now.
One question.
okay? Great.
Thank you for the presentation. I was wondering if you could tell me or tell us, from your experience with Hurricane Ivan in the Cayman Islands, in the aftermath of the hurricane, what was the requirement or the allocation of fresh water on a per capita basis?
The immediate, as you're probably aware, in the Caymans, if there's a major storm coming in, then prior to the arrival of that, we switch off all of our power and water. All of our water comes from, it's produced down in one of the companies or several of the companies in town. So, and the stockpiling of water is quite a big deal here, because of, we've got no natural water at all. So it's a case of producing it, and but the locking down of the power and the water tends to help to save a wastage during that time. Now, when Ivan came in, I had to take control of the police, mainly because lack of the commissioner ranks. I had problems in coming to work, but we obviously, like anywhere else, did have some problems with looting, to some extent on a fairly high scale, but not in too violent a way. There was some immediate sort of trying to break into bars and stuff like that, which we were able to hold down quite well with the use of special constables and recruiting people from the rugby club, and who were friends of mine. So I put them in as special constables, and including my son, and they helped to ensure that the key points, so food, water, and etc., warehouses, were protected at all times. So we didn't lose too much in that way. But the immediate effects are the same as anywhere, really. We had the water obviously surged in. The surge was about 12 to 14 feet in most of the places. And being as flat as a pancake, in actual fact, NOAA, when they got in touch with us, had lost us off the satellite. They thought we were completely gone. Fortunately, that wasn't the case. The other saving grace for Cayman is that over the years, the poorer type of buildings have already been washed or taken down, and the code for building is quite strong here. So we're fortunate that we do have good shelter areas, although, as far as I'm concerned, a long way off the adequate room for sheltering. We can only shelter about 7,000 from a population now that's probably over 70,000. But the shelters that are available are good. And I was also able to create, with a company I was working now, I was out of in multi-story car parks, and then get screens up in there that will have a 200-mile-an-hour resistance. And the multi-story car parks, you can get extra cars in if you park them carefully, but also open them up to the public, which will obviously need some security and oversight. But I found that worked very well indeed, and it still does. One of the companies has continued to do that with the screens. So once they're deployed, you've pretty much got a nice secure area that is, because it's multi-story, is off the ground and out of the way of any storm surge, etc. And then the other thing we did, going back just to onto the water, was because we'd got the supplies and the stores there, we were able to send out bowsers with water in them to the various districts, particularly out into the east, which was quite a while before it got itself together again. And we were able to send out these water bowsers to the different districts which needed the extra supplies, and then sort of fill containers for the public from those bowsers, and that worked fairly well. Another thing I felt worked very well was going to the radio stations and giving updates on that on a regular basis. And because of my position as a senior police officer, I think people had a tendency to listen a little bit more than normally would give attention to. And I found that just by telling the truth as to where we were, it sort of lowered some of the expectancy, and kept people very much calm, or calmer than sometimes they would be. And then sort of lastly, if you like, and I'll shorten this down a little bit, I found that PTSD, the post-traumatic stress, is a big deal, particularly as the days go on. And I tried by the radio to talk people around that, to understand what was going on, and to seek medical assistance if some of that stress started to come out, because that in itself is a mental health issue, and it causes problems in the house with domestic troubles and so on. So I actually write about that into my plans, so people can be aware and pay attention to it. So anyway, that's a brief summation of how I found the aftermath in the policing of the place, and trying to keep members of the public in a calmer sense of mind. Because otherwise, and we did have this, that people do silly things. They take generators into the house, and we lost some people through that. But the stress itself, we had quite a few, particularly elderly people, going out through strokes or heart disease and that sort of thing. They just couldn't cope with what was going on. So mental health and health issues are certainly a serious matter to be looked at.
I have a question. I'm joining from Grand Bahama Island, which is not in 7020. We're in 6990. And I actually run a rotary water plant. And before the storm, we stock all the hurricane shelters with 275-gallon water tanks. And we have trailers that go through the different neighborhoods and all that after a storm. Is there any private water companies or things like that in Grand Cayman? I actually lived in Grand Cayman for 3 years and went through Roxanne, and then I was the manager of Divi Tierra and went through another storm, hurricane. I can't remember the name of that. This would be back in the 90s. So is there any private water or rotary water companies down there?
There are. The water companies are all sort of private companies, the water company and the water authority. Water authority does come under the government, but the water company it doesn't. And so they, well, they're competitors, I suppose, but they're very active on what goes on, and they say, and those water companies obviously switched supplies off, so there's no city water being delivered during those periods of time, and they also, like yourselves, do store their product in order to move it out as soon as possible after the event. So yeah, thanks, Mike. That's good to know that you're doing that as well. Is that okay, Mike? Answer your question. Still lost.
All right, Derek, thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you again for the questions you posed to our speaker. In the interest of time, we really have to hasten and move on. I'm going to invite Park President Kelly to kindly come real quick. Let's thank our speaker for this afternoon.
On behalf of the Rotary Club of Nassau, President Darren, and members and guests, Mr. Haynes, we'd like to thank you for bringing to us a wealth of knowledge about hurricanes and about disasters as we wrap up our season with another 3 weeks to go. And a reminder to everyone not to take it lightly, that maybe to make sure that you've done all of your preparations. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that. It's been a pleasure talking to you and meeting you all. And yes, you're right. Don't just say we're finished in 3 weeks, because that's you know, yeah, we've got to be prepared all the time for whatever the disaster. And it's people like yourselves and what you do with Rotary that really hold things together. I'm really proud to be a member of it. So thanks very much for your time, and thanks for the invite. And I look forward to joining you on Saturday.
Certainly, thank you.
All right, have a great day.
Okay, so
cut the good thing of the raffles. Here's a good invite you to come and cut the skate with it. You're going to share with everybody. Yes. And tell me who the celebrants are for October. I think you would have had Jamie, who else you would have had for October, celebrating birthdays. So you would have had for the month of October, we had Miranda, Reverend Sam Bull, Milky and Jamie. They celebrate their birthday for the month of October, so they're celebrating this campaign. And because you're a special guest, we're going to invite you to cut the cake. No, you cut mine. You good. You look better than that. Okay, raffles. You know, you guys know the and we cut the cake. Yeah, don't worry about the cake. Sheila, she was the bigger. Take my number.
You sure?
Let me spin it around for you.
Okay. And then the wedding ticket is 109. 109.
Wow.
That's what you mean? Nope. 110.
105.
109.
I told you.
109.
Right away. Herman, that's you?
Right after me.
Why don't you go check that ticket over there? Yes, Tony, that's you?
No.
That's you, I think.
Anybody else come for?
Yeah, I go. The business.
Oh, wow.
When you come to RCN, you're way more than when you come to RCN, you win all the time. You see what happens when you visit us? Take it back to your cat.
She didn't give us that the first piece?
Go ahead.
Just keep going.
Okay, let's all stand now. But I have you all, good to have you. Good to have you. Would you be so kind and lead us off in the forward?
Right on there.
James. Take.
Friendships. Will be beneficial to all concerned. And.
Well, since you maybe again for a short time, I'm gonna invite you. Raise your hands.
Me?
Only one. Federal terrorism gets. Give you the final toast. Rotary around the world. Rotary around the world.
Thank you all, been good to see all you all, so again, be reminded the webinar is coming Saturday. Zoom link is being sent out, if you wish to join in person, there are a limited number of seats. So you can join them, we can take a quick photo before everybody leaves, I think she gets some cake. If you can drive some of these chairs, nobody just get a quick photo before everybody leaves.
What do you want? Hey, what's up?
Cake, the cake ain't got no value.
Come on, man. Hurry up, Marcy. You take it there.
Well, but you're all-
I think we're doing the taking.